Well, Christmas is just a few days away, and if you're hosting a party, there are a couple things you need to keep in mind to protect yourself from certain liability. So in this week's Know the Law, Tom Sinas here to talk about Michigan's Dram Shop Law. And this is something that we really need to keep in mind because it's the holiday season. A lot of people are going to be having parties and serving alcohol, and they do have to be careful.
Exactly. You know, I hate to talk about these topics this time of year because we all want to talk about what fun we're going to have, right? But it is true that this time of year, people do drink a lot more, and that oftentimes means something bad can happen. So I thought it would be a good idea to kind of review some of the basics. So you mentioned a concept, dram shop law. It's a funny phrase.
Yeah.
What does it really mean? Well, when we're talking here about liability for serving alcohol, we have to kind of divide the world into two. The first is what are called retail licensees. That's what the law calls it. And that basically would be your bars, right, your restaurants, but it could be anybody who gets a license to serve alcohol even for a one-time event.
Sure, maybe you have a Christmas party and you want to serve some alcohol to your guests or whatnot, an outdoor party, whatever you have it.
It could be. Those are probably more what we would call a social host. I'm talking about someone who gets a retail license to sell alcohol, whether it be one time or as a business, okay? Here's the law when it comes to those folks. Those folks are not permitted to serve alcohol, obviously, to minors, but also the law prohibits them from serving alcohol to someone who the law calls visibly intoxicated.
Right.
If they serve to someone who's visibly intoxicated and the visibly intoxicated person then hurts someone else, that third party who's hurt has a potential legal claim against the retail licensee, so the bar, for example. Your question dealt with social hosts. Like, let's say I have a party and you come over and my neighbors come over and we're serving alcohol. What kind of liability might I have? Well, in this case, the liability is a lot more limited. The general rule is that I am not liable for injuries to third parties if I'm just a social host and serving alcohol to adults.
Right.
However, if I'm serving alcohol to minors, then I can have legal liability. Okay, so that kind of is the difference. The visibly intoxicated standard applies to licensees. Social hosts are given a little bit more leeway, but always be careful with minors.
Sure, and of course there's always the issue of drunk driving as well.
That's right, and we've talked before about the fact that what everyone knows, which is that drunk driving subjects you to potential criminal penalties, but it also subjects the driver themselves to civil penalties. So if, heaven forbid, someone is involved in an accident involving alcohol, the appropriate question is, first, obviously, who caused the accident and what's that individual person's liability, but are there other entities that may have responsibility as well? The sort of whole picture needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
Obviously, though, we want the holidays to go great. We don't want any of these calls coming into my office. We hope that we do these segments so that this doesn't happen.
Absolutely, and there's so much more to this, so if people want more information, where can they go? They
can find us online anywhere at www.sinasdramis.com. Our West Michigan phone number is 616-301-3333, or they can shoot us an email at info@sinasdramis.com.
Excellent. We want you to know the law. We want you to be safe this holiday season. Don't want any trouble. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, everybody.